Hey, it's Drybear. Now, we just got done with Steam Next Fest, a whole bunch of demos. They did, Summerfest as well. A lot of discussions have gone on new games coming along. However, thanks to a chatter in my stream, I was turned on to a game called Ball X Pit, which I think is a very unfortunate title that hopefully they would change, but it is one of those indie titles that just feels way too fun to not talk about, so I wanted to give it a little bit of a highlight. So this game is called Ball X Pit, and, just like Loop Hero and a lot of these other indie titles that have a mashup of various different genres, it has that kind of vibe going for it. So this game is a demo available on Steam right now. You can download it. It has 3 playable classes on it and a repeatable level. It's got a whole bunch of different games put together. The core of it is Brick Breaker. Have you ever played Brick Breaker? Brick Breaker is like a old school arcade game that had a huge resurgence recently as an app game for iOS and Android, and it's just about shooting balls that bounce around against walls and bounce around different angles to kind of destroy bricks, and that's what you're doing, is you're breaking bricks in Brick Breaker. However, it has a class-based mechanic to it as well, and it is a roguelite in that you'll be able to kind of create things based on your build, have a class with stats, you'll find random power-ups and bonuses and items, and you'll combine them together and even fuse them into new items based on the combinations that you have, and it is a roguelite in that you'll start a match or round and you're trying to brick break all of these enemies in order to complete it, but it has its own little vibe going for it as well. And it is actually quite addicting and fun, and based on the direction that the classes give you, they will all have different perspectives. Like the warrior will give you an extra bleed as a bonus, and one character has fast firing, another character has the ability to phase through enemies to deal damage through it that way. You can add chain lightning to effects, earthquakes to effects, combinations of like lifesteal, being able to ghost through enemies, dealing more damage if you've bounced off the back of the arena or from the sides, and deal damage to the enemies that are around you as well. The enemies are in this kind of like Brick Breaker setup, then they move towards you almost like Space Invaders, old school Space Invaders. They march towards you. If they get within melee range of you, they will attack you, and if they get to the bottom of your arena, they will automatically attack you. So once it gets to the bottom, you are now in danger. You have a certain amount of health, which you see on the left side of the screen here, this little red area. If you ever run out of health, you die and you lose the round, and you have to start over and have, kind of that kind of progression here. So your goal is to try and destroy these as best you can. A lot of the RPG tropes are there, so like bleed, stacking up poison, having AoE effects, but they have some cool things like this fusion and evolution system where you might be able to take, say, like a freeze ball and like a wind ball and put them together to create a blizzard ball. And so you have this giant massive freeze storm that you shoot out that freezes enemies and deals damage, and you can combine things together to make either these hybrid options like you see right here, like lightning and bleed put together, but you can also evolve them into brand new systems. Like you can take like the bug variant and the iron variant and create like a mosquito or like a demon or something like that, and it creates some really cool opportunities for having it. It's very cozy and fun. You can have AoE builds, you can have direct damage builds, spawning new balls builds, crit damage builds, so like crits based on where you hit the enemy. You have bosses that you fight that have their own mechanics, and there is actually a progressive system outside of each round that persists between matches, which gives it that roguelite title. So when you finish a round, you go back to Balbalon, which is your home base, and you'll be able to create patches of value. So you spawn down resources like wheat or ore or wood, and then you'll be able to, once in between each match, send out harvesters, which is again a ball bricker. So you'll be able to put these down, send out your harvesters. They'll go out just like Brick Breaker, and they'll bounce off of these and collect the resources that you want, and you'll be able to use those resources to create more factories. You'll get permanent towers that might give you a stat bonus, like you can give all characters +1 dexterity, which gives them like move speed and crit chance. So you can get, it is a roguelite, so you maintain that progression. So you can get stronger and stronger and stronger, which allows you to get higher and higher difficulties of the levels you're trying to complete. You can get, unlock new characters and classes, new, build combinations that you can put together, and then when you're ready and you've done all of this, you can go back and play another round and unlock new things. Now, you can't expand the space in the demo right now, but I think the goal is to eventually to be able to expand this infinitely outward and have all kinds of things going. So you can see here, since I have this set up, I have like these two here which give you additional classes, which give you that option there. So you can actually choose between the 3 classes in the demo right now. They have the warrior, which has default a bleed ball that he shoots out, which stacks up bleeds on targets as a dot damage. You can do extra things where if you hit a target that it currently has a status effect on them, you can trigger another effect to happen as well, which is pretty cool. You also have the Itchy Finger class, which has a scatter like shotgun shot and shoots small balls, or baby balls as they call them. So you can shoot a lot of projectiles randomly. It has lower accuracy, which means they shoot out in a wider spread, but based on how you position your character, you can overcome that downside, and has a default burn ball, which applies a stacking burn, and the Repentant, which is the last class you unlock in the demo, which has a freeze ball, which can freeze enemies in place. When enemy gets frozen, they won't progress anymore, and they'll start going backwards as the rest of the enemies are moving forward, which might give you some breathing room as you play. And the Repentant also allows balls to deal more damage each time they bounce, but when they hit the back wall, they return to the player and they go through enemies. So your goal is to make sure the balls bounce back to the back wall and come back to you like wall ball or something like that, to be able to have some extra damage there, which is pretty cool. So those are the 3 classes you have to choose from. Ultimately, that's just the extent of the demo, and they do plan to have multiple classes, a long list of classes to choose from, as you'd expect from a roguelite, to be able to stack these together or play different play styles as you go along. And there's some base building aspects and strategy to it as well. You'll notice that I have placed these buildings in a way so that if I shoot these balls, so you can show my harvest here, you can see that I've kind of structured this so that it bounces behind this, and then it'll get into this area and bounce between all my resources. So again, you're playing Brick Breaker, you're trying to bounce between structures, but since you can place and reposition these however you want, I can actually hit this so that it goes behind, right? And then bounces between my buildings, hits all the resources a bunch of times. They're trapped in there for a while and they'll eventually work their way back up. But it is part of the gameplay to be able to get that and get all those resources, and you'll be able to reposition these if you want to, so you can pick these up and move them and block them and have different things like that. You can also build, economy, warfare, things that could unlock in a future update, different housing for different classes, and then you have a harvest phase that's part of it. So it's part base building, part Brick Breaker, part roguelite experience all rolled into one. And you'll get your classic roguelite experience. Every round will be different based on the buffs you get and the combinations you get. This round that I had on the warrior, it was like a bleed freeze build where I had lots of AoE, earthquakes going on, laser beams going on, but you'll notice that I shoot out these blizzards as well that I got from Out of Evolution. And then you also get boss battles. So this boss here has tons of HP and lots of projectiles, and the only way to damage this boss is to get the balls behind him and hit him in the crown. And so when you're trying to dodge all these effects and position yourself, it is quite difficult to get that right positioning. But because it's not like a true Brick Breaker or like a Tetris or Space Invader, because you have a movable character, you can get up on the top of the arena, down to the side or at the bottom, and move around that way and position in different places, which gives you lots of different ways that you can utilize the skills that you have. So again, because you have a boss that you can only strike them from behind, your goal is to either, get close to them and shoot them from behind, or bounce the balls that you have off the sides of the arena to the top and then back down into the crown in order to deal damage while you're doing this kind of like Realm of the Mad God bullet hell, dodging all these projectiles and trying to keep yourself alive. You can make your character tankier, you can spawn minions that tank shots for you, or you can get lifesteal and lots of healing based on the consumables that drop on the ground. And it does have a decent amount of depth with it as well that makes it a very unique experience that is all wrapped into a free demo that you can download right now on Steam if you wanted to try it out. It's a really neat concept that feels fresh and fun, and it is kind of just like really chill, laid back gameplay that you get. Because it's a roguelite, you get stronger with every time you leave the pit and come back to Balbalon and go back in. You start unlocking new passives, and they have the option to add in new ideas. And because the class system is quite varied, and the what you get through the fusion system and the evolution system, combining things together to create brand new powers that you didn't know existed. There's a bunch of different combinations you can create in the demo already, that it does feel like every time you go in, you get different statuses, different bonuses, and based on your class, you have to face new challenges and come up with new solutions with how you position. I've had rounds where I was pure status effect, which means I wanted to try and apply as many statuses to as many characters as possible. I had rounds where it was all about single target burst with crit. I've had rounds where it was like I had to hit the enemies from only the left side, or only from behind, or only from the front, which means if you're hitting an enemy from the front, obviously your balls are going to bounce backwards towards you, so how you build changes from that as well. And I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of variety and uniqueness of the game overall. So I wanted to kind of highlight it in video and let you know that this game is available for download if you wanted to try the demo. They said that the game is releasing in 2025 at some point, so we're we're at the halfway point here. We're just entering into Q3 for 2025. So hopefully in the next couple months, or at least before the holidays, we'll have a full release that has this. And I think this kind of game would also work great on mobile or console if the developer decides that they want to expand their capacity to other platforms and that sort of thing. But it's one of those games that you just want to keep on your radar. And if you're looking for a really fun demo to try out with a good amount of content in it already, then it's something that's available for download now. And if you've played Ball X Pit, let me know in the comments down below what you think about it, and just share it with your friends, because I think it is something that's it might fly under the radar with all these brand new high production, high marketing cost games on the market right now that just, if you haven't heard of it, you probably would enjoy it. You just probably haven't heard of it. So let me know what you think about Ball X Pit down below. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.